The following is a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.
Welcome back to another UAB Director's Chair. He's the athletic director of your UAB Blazers. Mark Ingram joins us here on our Tony Curry YouTube channel. Of course, you can chant this wonderful show. It runs 5 days a week. Wherever you get your favorite podcast, you can listen to it. We're available on every major industry out there as well. And, of course, right here on our YouTube channel, you can actually see our mugs as we do the show. Mark, how you been, brother? I know you've been off the last couple of weeks. How's summer going for you? Everything good?
Yeah, things are great, man. Yeah, we were at American Conference meetings down in Tampa last week. So I had our head football coach, our head basketball coach, our head women's basketball coach, our SWA, and our faculty athletics rep. We were all down in Tampa at the American Conference meetings last week. So sorry to miss the show,
No problem.
but we were in meetings on Thursday when we normally record the show. So I apologize for that.
No problem. And coming out of those, it didn't come out of those meetings, but we just found out that the AAC men's tournament's going to be in Birmingham.
Men's and women's the coming year
Do tell,
will be
man.
in Birmingham. Yeah, it's really exciting. Appreciate everybody down at Legacy Arena and the BJCC putting forth their effort to try to help us get that tournament back to Birmingham. So what was announced is it'll come here for 1 year, then it's going to go to Tampa for 2. And I've had some people ask me, well, why is that? And the answer is because they wanted to do it in back-to-back years somewhere. And the BJCC has an event, Legacy Arena has an event in that third year already booked during that time. And so they couldn't. So that's how it ended up, coming here and then going there twice. So, but we're glad to get it. And that doesn't mean we won't get it again, but it's the men's and the women's tournament. One of the things that was really important to the event was being able to have both men's and women's in the same city, which I think is really meaningful.
Yeah.
I think fans prefer it. There's people that you don't, as a fan, may not think about that it's really meaningful to, starting with any administrators, whether it's me or the president, the SWA, other staff that would like to be supportive of both. And when it's in two different cities, like it becomes unrealistic, but even more so, and I know people don't care about me, but like think about the band.
Yeah.
Like, how do you have your band in both places? How do you have your cheer squad in both places? Well, the answer is you sort of divide those groups and send them apart. But it's complicated. It's complicated to have those groups. And, do you have two band directors now? So you got two people in two different places. And yes, we do have that, but it's just that it's more of an expense. It's more people missing school. It's just, again, it's more complicated than it seems than just having it here or there. And so having it in the same place, I'm really excited about because of all those things. We can be supportive of both.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I really do. And my son, obviously, is a big UAB fan, and it's great you guys are going to be playing in your home city. I just think it's wonderful that there's going to be a team that plays down there. It's going to be end up getting an automatic bid. I think that's true. That's true for the SWAC or any other conference that wants to come through the Birmingham area and play tournaments here. I just think it's great. I love it. I'll be honest with you. I love it from a standpoint that I can afford to go. And it's really nice to be able to go watch a bunch of basketball games for under $100 with somebody, and I just enjoy a good college basketball game, and we'll see that.
Yeah, and we really need to get the word out around the city to get our community at the game, because I can assure you, yes, it's more affordable for our Birmingham fans. It's also more affordable for the Memphis fans, and they are going to be there in force. And so unless we want that place to be painted royal blue, we need to get in there and make sure our green and gold are loud and proud. So
they do travel well for sure.
They travel great, and good for them. And that's another nice advantage, frankly. If you're the commissioner, you want a lot of people to be there. And frankly, you don't care what color they're wearing. You just want it to be a big event. And but that's a nice advantage that the Memphis fans are only 4 hours away and they can get here easily as well. And the city of Memphis was one of the options. But for whatever reason, they couldn't host men and women. They could only host the men. And that was probably a big part. I shouldn't say probably, I was in the room. That was part of the determining factor of how they did not get it. So good for us to be able to do both.
Shedeur Sanders, The story just keeps rearing its head, but I just think it's fascinating. I think it's a lot of fun to talk to because I think everyone at this point now knows why he went in the fifth round. And if you're going, why was that, Tone? I think most of us would agree that had something to do with his dad. Now, whether that would be a distractionary thing, I had heard the fact that he wore headphones during his interview process, and that he didn't take it seriously. I also understand he drives a $220,000 Mercedes or whatever he drives, and a lot of people think that he's gotten a big head. He did have a fantastic season. But for a guy who is projected to go number one in the draft, or at least the number one quarterback in the draft, to
Hmm.
have five guys, including Jalen Milroe of Alabama, go before him
Yeah.
in this particular draft is a real head scratcher. You and I were talking briefly before the show about Johnny Manziel and of going 22nd to the Cleveland Browns. We talked about Aaron Rodgers, and I remember him sitting by the phone. Everyone thought he was going to be the first round guy. He ended up going 24th. We certainly know about the Tom Brady situation going 199th in the sixth round, but to go to fifth place, the National Football League and their pickers were trying to send a message to somebody. The fact that it went down to the fifth round. I want to get your thoughts on why you think Shedeur Sanders, and you know what a wonderful season he had this past year, and why he went fifth in the National Football League's draft.
Well, I don't know Deion Sanders personally. I've never met the man. We all know what the persona is. People, I have we have mutual friends. You know, when you're in this industry, you have that. And my mutual friends say that Deion's a good guy. And my mutual friends say that he's very aware that there's Deion Sanders and then there's this alter ego Coach Prime, almost like a character.
Hmm.
Prime time. There's this prime time character guy. And Prime gets a lot of endorsements. And Prime, like, say what you want, whether you like it or you don't like it. Like, Prime Time and Coach Prime get a lot of attention. And if used right and harnessed right, is really good. It's really good for Jacksonville. You know, when he was at Jacksonville State, or where was he? He was at yeah, it was at Jacksonville State.
Yeah,
Um, that was I mean, it brought attention that they've never had.
yeah.
And then you know, Colorado's ticket sales and attendance are through the roof. So as much as some pundits might sort of poke fun, there's some good coming out of it. I have a good friend. Well, he was a good friend. We kind of lost touch, but one of my old teammates, he got drafted in like the fourth round to the Cardinals.
Hmm.
And he was a really good player. He was a defensive lineman. And apparently, and I don't know this exactly, but apparently he gets to their OTAs and their workouts and he's saying stuff like, "Man, I can't believe y'all waited so long to draft me. Y'all were lucky that I was still around." And this kind of general chatter.
Yeah.
They cut him, I think, before their first preseason game.
Wow.
Well, he ends up being picked up now as a free agent by the Eagles and played like 10 years for the Eagles
Hmm.
because he was a good player.
Yeah.
But what it tells you is if you and I play the same position on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm a 9 and you're an 8.75. But I'm difficult or I'm hard to work with, they're going to take you
Hmm.
because there's 1,000 dudes that want your job.
Yeah.
They could do your job. And maybe not quite as good, but this much worse. But people forget, and players don't understand this coming out of college, even. The college player, you know, they go to school and there's this window of time that you can work out, practice, and exercise and watch film and then you got to go. And the NFL Players Association has that too. But instead of being like this, it's more like that. It's a job. It's a real job. Like you get up, you're there by, I don't know, call it 8 a.m. at like any other 9 to 5 job. You're there at 8 a.m. They feed you breakfast. You know, you might have a mid-morning workout or something, then you go back to film, then you have lunch, then maybe back to film, then you go have practice, you might have film again, and then you go home. And like it's this sort of normal, regular day. And the coaches don't want to deal with a guy that's difficult when they
Yeah.
don't have to deal with a guy that's difficult.
No, and I even
When
think
they
about
don't,
some
when
of the
they
guys.
when they
I
don't
mean,
have to.
yeah, I even think about some of the guys, and we've seen it.
They're there all day together. They
Yeah, we've
don't
seen we've seen it with Brown, we've seen it with Terrell Owens, we've seen it with guys, and these guys are Pro Bowlers. I mean,
correct.
these guys are
Des
Hall of
Bryant,
Famers, and they didn't want to deal with them. Yeah, Des
right?
Bryant. I mean, you know what I mean. After a while, even to a point, Ocho Cinco. I mean, these guys,
Correct.
they're a pain, and
They're
even
vain.
yeah, but these are Hall of Famers. So if you think you're coming out of Colorado, and again, I
Right.
don't know what Shedeur, I really don't know what the situation is. The thing with Deion Sanders, which I think is really interesting, and I hadn't really thought about this, was they were not only not dealing with him particularly because it was prime time or Neon Dion, was because they knew that Deion Sanders has an opportunity probably to coach at the next level. And I'm not talking about the level of college. I'm talking about pro. I know there was word out there that perhaps he could have had the Dallas job. I don't
Maybe.
know if that was true or not.
No, no.
And then maybe, if the Cleveland Browns end up getting a Shedeur, who they did, and by the way, they got they got Dylan Gabriel, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Deshaun Watson. Who the hell's going to be the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns? I mean, they've got a
And Deshaun
mess.
Watson's a good player, as was Kenny Pickett. You know what they're going to have is competition, Tony.
Well, there is, and I mean, and the question is if he's going number one or he's going in the first round, Shedeur Sanders is probably his job to lose. Now I'm not so sure.
Not so
So
sure.
and maybe that'd be really good for him because all five of those guys have had to take a snaps, and they're all decent quarterbacks. It's just a lot of guys that look like they're trying to find their spots. I don't know what Joe Flacco's still doing in the league. It's been forever, but on the road he's fantastic.
Well,
Um,
Flacco's just that journeyman guy. He's like Aaron Rodgers. You know, there was
yeah,
a moment where Flacco was the highest paid quarterback in the league,
yeah,
and then kind of fell off fast. I feel like he had an injury or something, but Joe Flacco is a smart, knowledgeable, knows how the industry works. Probably a great guy to have in the quarterback room to help mentor those younger guys, if nothing else. And who knows, maybe he ends up getting on the field too. But um, I tell you what it reminded me of, Tony, was, and I don't remember this guy's draft position because I think he still got drafted
hmm
pretty high, but it was when that basketball player was coming out, LaMelo Ball.
yeah. His
Was
dad
it
was all over it.
LaMelo? His dad is Lonzo Ball,
All the ball,
and
the
then
ball
they've
family.
all
Yeah.
got similar names. Like I don't know, so I maybe I'm getting the wrong guy mixed up because there's like three boys,
Mhm.
and dad. I think dad is Lonzo, and then there's three sons who have similar names. Anyway, he there was a lot of chatter around where's he going to get drafted, and oh man, you're gonna have to deal with the dad,
Yeah.
and this is. This is pro sports. It'd be like my father. Can you imagine my father coming into my office here and like raising heck about work conditions or
Really.
or compensation and going public and you know what I mean and talking about how all this stuff. It's like that's nuts. Like
Funny
that
thing is,
doesn't
once
happen in the
once the
real world.
once the balls did go professional, it worked pretty well. Like I remember seeing the videos of his father making them breakfast and this that. And the other. You don't really hear
Listen,
from
those
him
guys have
anymore.
made a bunch of money. Let's
They
not
made a
kid
ton of
ourselves.
money thanks to their dad. Yeah,
But how about this? But Tony, as we're sitting here, I'm not sure I know all their names. These are not all-star players. If you're in the NBA and you sit on the bench, you're a great, great basketball player.
yeah,
So it's not about are they great, but they weren't quite what Dad was trying to build them up to be. And the point is, I think he's bounced to a two or three teams because people are like, man, that's too much.
yeah.
That's my impression. I don't know that. Maybe that's completely false, but that's my impression is that people don't want to deal with all that.
Yeah, and it's funny because we could do a whole show on this too, and I know you could do a whole show on this, talking about just the fathers, and I guess to an extent the mothers of some of these football players, because I know Jameis Winston's father was in his back pocket a lot. I still talk to him on occasion, and Jameis, of course, obviously still in the National Football League, and with considerable success in the National
Sure.
Football League.
Again, if
He's
you're
gonna
in it,
provide.
you're
Yeah, he's
successful
he's providing for his family. I don't care if he's a
for
starter or
sure.
not. He's there and he's doing real good. Hey, while we're talking about quarterbacks too, Aaron Rodgers, um, what's going on with him? What? Tell me, what's he trying to do? How's he trying to be remembered as a legacy? Can he just not give it up? He just wants to go play. Can he be successful as a Steeler? What? It seems like no one cares. It seems like after that whole who's going to get Aaron Rodgers deal and he goes to the Jets, it has just been a mess ever since
Well, he
then.
was hurt.
Yeah,
He
oh,
went to the
I
Jets.
know. Yeah,
Actually, he was playing well.
yeah, in the
He was
first game,
playing
yeah.
well, and the Jets were playing well, and he got hurt.
Yeah, and then of course he comes back, and then but your thoughts on what he's doing? Should he hang it up? Is there? I
Look,
mean,
man, it's it's like a drug, man. You love playing. At this point in his life, you think about how many years of his life he's been playing football,
hmm
and all of a sudden he's supposed to stop. And then what's he going to go do? And I'm not saying he doesn't have other skills. I'm literally asking though, what would he go do? Would he go coach? Would he go? He could go coach youth football, high school
hmm
football. Probably easily get on. I bet with Cal as some sort of assistant analyst. So I bet they'd be thrilled to have him, as would many others. Um, or does he want to go buy a farm? Who knows what the guy wants to do? I don't know what his hobbies and interests are, but that's a real crossroads for a guy that's not an old man. This is not a I'm retiring, oh, and I'm 70. It's I'm retiring and I got half my life in front of me. What does that look like? And it's really hard. You remember when Jason Witten thought it was time to hang it up and he did
Yep.
television and then he went back,
Yeah.
and it was what he realized was he just missed it too much. He just missed it way too much. And kind of took that year and got healthy almost. He wasn't banged up. He still exercised. He's like, man, I could keep playing. What was I thinking?
Yeah.
Because you can't get it back. There comes a point where you can't do it.
hmm
And it's like this television thing, maybe I could always come back to the TV gig if I wanted to. TV will take you until you're, really old if you're good at it. But the game is for the elite, the
Yeah,
physically elite.
it would almost feel like too with Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if anyone's like Tom Brady, where you can take a year off and come back, or even Michael Jordan when he went to play baseball. But it seems like it's almost like if you almost had just at that age you have like 1 year, if you want to get back in, you better go.
And
You
don't
better,
kid yourself that burnout is real too.
yeah.
We experienced that at the college level, which some people maybe find hard to believe. But, when you get these kids, the people that I talk to this the most about are baseball coaches.
hmm
Because baseball kids, they'll play so many games, travel baseball in the summer. If they don't play another sport, if their parents, which I think is a terrible idea, and I tell everybody this, do not play fall baseball. If you don't want to play football, that's fine. If you'd rather just go to the weight room or something and exercise in the fall, that's fine. But man, you got to have some off time. But there's too many parents and they refuse to believe it, but there's too many parents that push their kids into this year-round sport. And baseball is the worst about it. They'll go fall, spring, and summer, fall, spring, and they'll just play a million games.
hmm
And by the time those kids get to college, they're so sick of swinging a bat and throwing a baseball, they can't stand it. And it was this ultimate goal to get there. But then they get there and they're like, oh my gosh, they're just tired of it.
Yeah.
And that can happen at the NFL or NBA level too. And you think, oh, but if they're making all that money, it's like anything. It gets to a point where yes, they've got a ton of money. Making more money is nice to do, but not needed. Now, do they love it? And sometimes they just need a break physically. I need a break from being barked at. I need a break from somebody telling me where to be all the time. I just need a break.
Yeah.
And um, I need a break from the media. I need a break from the travel, whatever. I just want to have some time to myself. And if they take that year off, like you just described, and then they go, I've still got some gas in the tank, man. I could do this. I'm gonna get myself right, and and they have a different headspace. They go back and they're like Brady, like went back and he was Tom Brady, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. UAB Athletic Director Mark Ingram joins us every single week right here on the UAB Director's Chair. And we have been off the last couple of weeks, so we're going to catch up on several things. This is kind of fun to go around the league here. And shows more than just about the UAB Blazers. There is another show, too, called what's the
The
Inferno.
Inferno.
The Inferno. Yeah, that thing is still rolling, too. So make sure you check that out. It's really good. UABsports.com. Bill Belichick. I've been asked about Bill Belichick a million times at his sports radio for 30 years. What is he thinking? What is he doing? I'm like, dude, he is living life to life's fullest expectations. I said,
Yeah.
he's 73. He's going to come on, a 24-year-old. Dude, There ain't a 73-year-old man out there who's not married who wouldn't love to have a 24-year-old draped all over him. I don't know what their intimacy level is. I don't care. I don't want to think about it. But she's smoking hot. Well, they can't mean love. I don't care if it doesn't mean love. He doesn't have to be in love with her. He's hanging out with a girl that's 50 years younger than him. She looks smoking hot. If she traipses around, walks naked through the kitchen, that may be enough for him. I don't know what their situation is. I don't care, but good for him. Wonderful for him. And now, of course, known as maybe the greatest NFL football coach, and you could certainly make an argument that Tom Brady had a lot to do with that because Tom was successful after Bill. Bill was not successful after Tom.
Yeah.
Now he's at North Carolina, and all I can think is, I don't know why a 73-year-old will want to go back and do college football. Maybe it's fun for him. Certainly sold a boatload of tickets, but it is kind of a smirk situation. What are your thoughts on Bill?
Well, I think you got a guy who loves the game. I think you got a guy who, just like we were talking about, it's all he's ever known. Feels like he still has a lot to offer, and I'm sure feels like the college game is a different challenge, a similar but different challenge. Why not give it a go? And he feels like he's still got a lot to offer and wants to do it. Now, how long can he do it? Well, who knows? People used to ask that every year of Coach Saban, how much longer can he do it? Well, till he can't. I mean,
Yeah.
or doesn't want to. And good for Bill because he's so well thought of that he has that opportunity to go to a place like North Carolina that's a tradition-rich place with a lot of great fans and, great university. It's an outstanding school and Bubba Cunningham's their AD. He's a super guy, a good friend of mine. And
what was his?
Right.
I know you've had this conversation with Bubba. What was his? Because there's probably some schools that maybe Bill wanted to go to, and they said no. I mean, not. I mean, is there anyone you can't say no to? I mean, Bill Belichick. You're like, oh my gosh, Bill Belichick. And then when you start thinking about, okay, he's 73. He's bringing a lot of distraction in with his 24-year-old. Let's be honest. I mean, this guy could be dating half the football team for all we know.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of distraction there, and it is. It's not a joke because if the guy ends up going 9-3, then he was well worth it. And I think we're going to find out a lot about his coaching prowess and his skill. But what was the athletic director at North Carolina thinking when they brought him in? Was it just like, hey, let's just blow the doors off for a couple of years and see what happens?
Well, I think that everyone in sports would agree that Bill Belichick is one of the best coaches in the history of sports, period. Not football, sports. He is one of the best coaches in the history of sports. And his championship success is all you need to look at over a long period of time. And so I'm not saying he's the best. He is among the best. He is one of the best. And, I think Nick Saban is that way. I think Pat Summitt is that way. I think you could put, a dozen or two people in that category over the thousands and thousands and thousands of coaches. But that's all it was, man. Don't overthink it. We have the opportunity to get one of the best coaches in the history of sports to come to our institution and help us. And he's interested, and let's do that. And yeah, again, is he going to have him for 3 years or 5 years or 8 years? Time will tell. But if you could get 5 years and sort of, I don't want to say reverse because they weren't terrible. Mac Brown had improved them from where they had been since Mac Brown left. Mac Brown brought them back to a respectable level. But to sort of, instead of kind of going from here to back to respectful, now they want to get there. If Bill can get them there and get the program, people excited again, and then Bill says, hey, I want to schedule thoughtfully, plan a retirement with you. Let's work together and bring in a next person who feels like they're taking the reins of not of a rebuild, but of a, hey man, this thing's going in the right direction. The fans are engaged. That's the opportunity.
Is Bill one of those guys, and you would know this, is Bill one of those guys that's well connected to the National Football League? It sounds like a stupid question, but I mean,
Is Bill Belichick, is he?
Yeah, I mean, when you're
NFL?
when you're playing for a former NFL coach, you think to myself, okay, I'm playing for a former NFL coach. He can make some phone calls for me
Sure.
if I want to play at the next level. Is Bill that guy? I mean,
God, yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, God, yeah, man.
Yeah.
There's nobody. Look, it's not about do you like him or do you not like him? Do you like his style? You don't like his style? Do you like that stupid hoodie thing that he wears? It's not about any of that. You cannot deny the guy's success.
Mm-hmm.
Can't.
Yeah.
And so what I thought Bill was excellent at the Patriots is he really didn't draft a bunch of fancy, flashy, like his first round draft picks weren't necessarily. Well, we started off with this. Brady was he fifth round, sixth round pick,
Six round, yeah.
sixth round pick, and he made a living off of those type guys.
Yeah.
Wes Welker wasn't some first round draft pick. He made a living off of Mike Vrabels and these type guys being great for them. And he took his first round picks were on the front, the offensive defensive line is where he tried to get his first rounders. He wasn't trying to draft the next great quarterback. He never did that.
Yeah.
And so what that says is he knows how to evaluate talent. And so yes, you think that if you're considering going to North Carolina, that could Bill Belichick have influence to say to the coach at the wherever, the Carolina Panthers, hey man, we got this kid Tony Curry, and he's I don't know why he's not going to get drafted high. You guys are crazy if you don't draft him. They're going to listen to that. Of
Yeah.
course, they're going to listen to that. I would.
Yeah. What else is going on at UAB Sports?
Brother, we had, since we last talked, I told you we went to Tampa for the league meetings. We've had commencement. We had just short of 100 student athletes graduate here, which is
Nice.
a ton of fun. So now this is a planning season and camp season. Heavy camp season here. If your kids are bored for the summer, please send them to our camps. We got them in every sport. So we it's fun around here to see the young kids going. Out in the gym playing volleyball and basketball, and football camps going, baseball camp, softball camp, soccer camp. We got it all. And so yeah, please take a look at our camp website at uabsports.com. There's a drill down for camps, and you can send your kids here. It's also a busy time on campus for orientation, new student orientation. So the upcoming freshman class, them and their families are here for not their first visit by any means. I'm sure most everybody has been here a couple of times, but now they're really getting an intimate insider look at how everything works and what do all the dorms look like, not just one dorm, but now you see where you're going to live. And it's a lot of fun. It's an exciting time for families here.
Great stuff, brother. Great to have you back, and we'll catch up next week.
Renewals are out now. You can renew your football tickets and your basketball tickets now. And if you want to see the Blazers be successful, you need to support these kids. And so I appreciate everybody that has done that so far, and hope that the listeners here will renew their tickets and get their friends to do the same. We want to continue to win here, and we can do it, and we're capable, but we got to have everybody in it with us.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Curry Radio.